Good day, everyone, and we are the Group 2. We are here to present a literary analysis, including our personal insight for the short story Dead Stars by Paz Marquez-Benitez.
Hi, I am Baquir and I am here to discuss the setting and the theme of the story Dead Stars, written by Paz Marquez-Benitez. For the setting of the story, the time in which the story Dead Stars happened was not specifically indicated in the story, but based on what it looks like or what it seems to look like, the story happened in early 1900s. On the other hand, the location of the story took place in different sites, such as Calle Real, the house of Don Julian, the house of Don Julian in Tanda, Santa Cruz, and the Martinez house, which is the house of Judge Del Valle. Let's talk about the Martinez house or the Judge Del Valle's house. First, this is the location where Alfredo met Julia Salas. This happened when Don Julian came to visit his old friend, which is Judge Del Valle, and there Alfredo saw Julia Salas and he was stunned by Julia's charm. Julia was the judge. Julia was in the judge's house because she is the judge's sister-in-law. Another for the setting is the house of Don Julian. Don Julian's house is where Don Julian and his whole family resides. This is where Alfredo, which is the main character of the story, and Carmen, his sister, grew up. For the third location, this happened in Calle Real. This is where Alfredo and Julia once met again. They happened to meet after the procession of the Our Lady of Sorrows. On this specific area, Julia congratulated Alfredo for his upcoming wedding. This is since Julia already know that Alfredo is already getting married. She congratulated her and told him that everything's gonna be alright. Another location is the house of Don Julian in Tanda. In this specific location, this is where the family's plantation, specifically the coconut plantation, and their beach is located. Don Julian invited his good old friend Judge Del Valle to come visit his place in Tanda a week before the Holy Week. The whole family, and so his friend's family, gathered there and took their time together and enjoyed their moment together. The last setting of the story was taken in Santa Cruz. This is Julia's hometown. Alfredo was already a married man that time and is married to Esperanza. He was there specifically looking for a girl named Brigida Samuy, which he needs for his defense since he is a lawyer. But then he later went past Julia Salas' home, which is near the lake on Santa Cruz. He visited her and talked to her. On this location, Alfredo reminisced the time he spent together with Julia, and he even imagined what life could have been when he ended up with Julia.
Alfredo Salazar, son of Don Julian, a more than 30-year-old man and a bachelor. He is engaged to Esperanza but still fleeting to Julia Salas. Esperanza, fiancée of Alfredo Salazar, She is a homely woman and literal-minded. Julia Salas, sister-in-law of Judge Del Valle, she is the other girl of Alfredo Salazar and remains single in her entire life. Don Julian, an old man, the father of Alfredo Salazar and Carmen. Carmen, sister of Alfredo Salazar. Judge Del Valle, brother-in-law of Julia Salas. Donna Adelia, sister of Julia Salas, she is a small and plump, a pretty woman with the complexion of a baby. Calixta, note carrier of Alfredo Salazar and Esperanza. Junicio, husband of Donna Adelia. Vicente, husband of Carmen. Brigada Samuy, she is the elusive woman whose Alfredo is looking for.
Hi everyone, I'm James Matthew Banday and I'm going to present the plot of Dead Stars. The short story revolves around one man, Alfredo Salazar, and the affair of his heart. He is a man who believes in true love and hopes to find bliss in its wake. The first woman he falls in love with is Esperanza. Their families are acquainted with each other, and they begin in passionate relationship. But soon, it fades away when Alfredo comes across another woman, Julia, who becomes the object of his desire. Esperanza and Alfredo have their engagement after 3 years of romance. Alfredo, a lawyer, is a man who wants warmth and compassion, but Esperanza is a strong-willed, impassionate, and woman of principles. So when he comes across Julia Sala's sister-in-law of the judge, who is a friend of Alfredo's father, he is strongly attracted to her. Julia is an enthusiastic and optimistic person, a woman of hope, dreams, and desires. On his visit with his father, he starts engaging in profound chat with Julia and starts getting attracted to her charm, wit, and passion. In his impassioned state, he does not even disclose the truth about his engagement to Esperanza. In order to avoid scrutiny of his fiancée, he starts keeping secrets from Esperanza too. One day, he learns about Julia's return to her hometown. His eyes are doomed with the fear of losing her, and he decides to confess his guilt and true feelings to Julia. After the church function, he goes to meet her even though his fiancée is waiting for him to come to her. However, reaching Julia, he realizes that she has already learned about his lies. She even wishes him best on his marriage to Esperanza and leaves him. He gets a double blow when he returns home to Esperanza. She is talking to a friend about loyalty and faithfulness. Alfredo feels an urge to speak. He defends the cause of desire and choice over immorality. This gets under the skin of Esperanza, who declares that she knew about him and Julia. She encouraged him to commit such immoral infidelity and cancel the wedding, all in pursuit of his heart's content and lust. However, Alfredo surrenders to reason and sanity, and the wedding goes ahead as planned. As fate would have it, he is sent on some work duty to a place near Julia's hometown. He cannot help resist the feeling of nostalgia and old lust for Julia. He finds an excuse and way to her place where he met her. She is still single and he is forced to dream about a life with her instead of Esperanza. But soon, he comes to know that something is not the same after all. Julia has changed and rather lost something now. Maybe it's her beauty, wit, charm, or even her passion, but she is a different woman. She is cold and aloof and does not extend the same warmth and affection to him anymore. He is heartbroken. and pensive and questioned whether he overloved her truly. Was it all futile infatuation or mere affair? Was the romance they shared just a figment of his imagination? Whatever it was, he is no more alive. He accepts the hard reality that anything that there may have been was there no more.
Point of view. The story is in the third-person omniscient point of view, where we can only see or feel the thoughts and feelings of the characters if the narrator allows it to reveal on us. We only know what the character knows and what the author allows us to see. And based from the narrator, I think if I was to narrate the story, it would be mostly in a gloomy tone, simply because the story mostly revolves on bad decisions, which led to sadness, regrets, and false feelings. That in the end, I think no one has truly found true happiness, as all of the characters are confused about the idea of what true love and happiness is.
The short story Dead Stars by Paz Marquez-Benitez symbolizes a dream that is not existent. The romance of two lovers whose only desire is to be together, but it becomes a vague and dark like a dead star. As we all know, that star are often symbolizes as guidance of enlightenment or light in the darkness. But when it is far from our sight, it seems without radiance and lost its own brightness or died. The dead stars represent a presence that is not recognized. It speaks of emotions and relationships that may exist but are not realized and lose their meaning and significance. In the story, the attraction between Alfredo and Julia is a forbidden and taboo phenomenon. They both felt is to be real but never accepted their mutual attraction nor confessed it. They wilted to the social expectations and did the morally ordained thing. However, the truth remains that they never intently examined their sentiments and relationship. Therefore, when they reunite after 8 years, they do not have the same passion for each other. They are an illusion of something that might have been lively and thriving previously, evidence of their vital past, but now they are a mere illusion of something that cannot be revived. Esperanza's devotion to Alfredo also resembles love, but since she believes in the regenerative virtue of institution more than true love, it is safe to say that she is in the relationship because of moral obligation. Esperanza is a Spanish feminine name meaning hope or expectation.
So, the name or the story has title by Dead Star. And why it has title by that name? Because the star represents Alfredo's feeling or Alfredo's love toward Julia. Okay, and at the end of the story, or at the last sense of the story, seems like Alfredo's feeling or Alfredo's love towards Julia has just gone or has just disappeared, which means his love towards Julia has died, or the star which represents his love towards Julia has died, and so that's why the story has titled by that name, which is Dead Star.
For the theme of the story Dead Stars by Paz Marquez-Benitez talked about forbidden love, betrayal, and moral responsibility. Let's talk about forbidden love first. Forbidden love was shown by Alfredo to Julia. Alfredo fell in love with Julia even when he is already getting married with his fiancée Esperanza. The story showed forbidden love could happen to anyone or to someone, and that forbidden love will haunt you and your feelings until the end of time, and it will make someone or even you realize your faults or your mistakes that you could have done to someone, and that you could have hurt their feelings because of that forbidden love. Another thing is betrayal. Betrayal happened because Alfredo tended to broke Esperanza's trust and love for him. He fell in love with someone even when he is already committed to her. Esperanza gave all her love to Alfredo because she trusted him so much, but then Alfredo chose to break her trust because he then fell in love with Julia Salas. The last theme of the story is about moral responsibility. Moral responsibility happened when Esperanza knew that what Alfredo did to her and her family when he cheated on her, but she still chose to pursue the wedding. Esperanza was too overwhelmed of the situation, and she still chose to do her responsibility as a fiancée to him and to understand Alfredo. Another thing about responsibility is when she thought that everything was already set, so that she still continued to pursue the wedding because Alfredo's family and her family have already finished doing everything for their wedding. Last, for moral responsibility is when Alfredo is already engaged to his beloved to get married, yet he distracted himself with another woman, which is Julia Salas. He forgot his responsibility to his to-be wife. Even after 8 years later, he still thinks of Julia and what life would have been if he ended up with Julia. And then that time he realized what he did, what are the mistakes that he have done, and that Julia has already changed herself.
Hi, my name is James Matthew Banday, and I'm going to give my personal insights in Dead Stars by Paz Marquez-Benitez. Number 1. What did you learn and understand from your topic? I learned and understand in the story before getting married to someone else, you need to know them well to be sure if she or he is the one for you. Number 2. What is your opinion about your topic? My opinion about the story is that the story is well written and the author or narrator know every detail in the event and it can easily imagine for the readers. Number 3. Were you able to relate to your topic? How, why, or why not? What is your reaction? I able to relate in the story because some of my friends are telling a story about their boyfriend having affair with another girl. This one is the usually happen in a relationship, so you must first know a person well before entering in a relationship. 4. How is your topic relevant to real experience to the society? This story, Dead Stars, written by Paz Marquez-Benitez, is relevant in the society because the kind of this problem that happen in the story is usually happens in a relationship, which that there are man or woman that are tempted to like others even though they are still in a relationship. 5. If you can talk with the narrator, person, and or characters, what will you tell them? If I can talk with Alfredo Salazar, I will tell them that if you love Esperanza, you will accept her wholeheartedly even if she is not perfect. Do not ruin your relationship. And to Esperanza, before entering a marriage, you just need first to know him well.
For me, if you love someone, you will make a way for him to stay. But if it is the will of our Creator, when we can do nothing but follow His decision, a choice between whether to follow through a commitment or to follow one's heart, a decision not easy to make. Choosing to follow through commitment might appease more people, but when it comes to picking a life partner, we should not let others' opinion affect our decision. The decision of Alfredo to pick Esperanza might have come from the fear of disappointing their community. For me, that is a wrong decision because you did not follow your heart. You follow others' opinion in comes to your love life.
For my personal insights regarding this story, Dead Stars by Paz Marquez-Benitez, I was able to come up with different personal insights based on the guide questions that were provided. For me, based on the story Dead Stars, I have learned that in a relationship, anything could happen, even in the most stable ones. Betrayal or cheating could happen anytime. That's why trust and love are so important in a relationship. Another thing is there really are things that could happen to us sometimes that make us realize of our mistakes, and these things could either make us grow into a better person and would also make us decide which are the things that are important to us. The topic of the story is a sensitive issue of our society because it really is happening and could happen to anyone. It is also timely since our generation specifically, and even the older ones or the older generations commit this act, and people tend to fall in love with another man or woman even when they are already tied to somebody else, to someone they first loved. Many people have been hurt because of this act, and that is why a lot here in the Philippines, especially in other countries, have high statistics of a broken family. In my case, I haven't experienced cheating and don't ever want to experience it because it will surely hurt me, and I don't ever want to break someone's trust on me. For me, this act is really immoral in so many ways. Lastly, if I will be able to speak or say something to any of the characters in the story, I'd really like to speak with Alfredo, and I'd like to ask him why could he do such things or such acts when he is already committed to Esperanza in the first place. When he thought that he loved Julia, he should then broke up with Esperanza in the first place so that things could end up properly or really well than the way he did. Not the way he did, because it is not just Esperanza and himself that he would hurt. He could also hurt his family, their family's reputation, Esperanza a lot, and even Julia. So that's my personal insight.
What did you learn and understand from your topic? From the literary piece, I think I've learned and understand how social norms affect our decisions in life, and how some people perceive love because from the characters, especially Alfredo, he wasn't truly in love with Julia or Esperanza. He was just in love with the idea of love. The feeling of being loved, but he doesn't truly love a person at all. For my opinion, the topic speaks so much on how social norms affect our decisions, especially during the 80s and 90s. I believe that these scenarios are still happening in the present, but I think people is more careful now when it comes to love. Because from the past, we have learned from those experiences about love, and there are our parents who teach us what is love and how to love. Will you be able to relate to her topic? How, why, or why not? Or what is your reaction? Yes, very much because I have a girlfriend right now and we've been together for almost 2 years now. And I think true love is something where you can see yourself with that person forever, where both of you grow as a person as you achieve your dreams. How is your topic relevant to real experiences, to the society, etc.? I think our topic really happens in reality, and this topic not only talks about love, but also with the idea on how we make decisions. That in making a decision, whether if it's for love, career, or whatever, you must always think and assess yourself before taking a leap. If you can talk with the narrator persona or the characters, what will you tell them? I think I'll talk to the two women, if I will have the chance, because they have suffered the most, especially Esperanza. Because even though they are engaged, she can feel that her partner Alfredo was always searching for someone else. Also for Julia, because Alfredo cheated on her. She doesn't know that Alfredo was already engaged, yet he still dated Julia. I'll tell those two that you are more than enough. You don't have to stick to someone who doesn't appreciate your very existence. Don't stick to someone who will hold you back in obtaining true love and happiness, because at the end of the day, it is our life and it is our decision to make.
I understand that those things really happen in real life, not only when it comes to love but also in other things. That sometimes we do things so that we could not disappoint others. The story of Dead Stars is that you should be open on what you feel so that others will know the things that you really want. No, because my family lets me to decide on what are the things that I want to do. It is relevant to real experiences because some people only follow the decisions of others so that they would not disappoint them. For example, is the course that they want you to take even though you are not interested in that course. If I would be given a chance to talk to the characters, I would talk to Alfredo Salazar because he need to be honest to his family on what he really feels.
Okay, what did I learn from a Dead Star story? That all of us have not to let our happiness depend on someone, no matter who it is. And my opinion of a Dead Star story, that it's a romantic story with a sad background, but also has a quality message within it. And were I able to relate to the story? Yes, because I've seen or I've heard sometimes a similar stories in our real life. So that's why I could relate it to it. And did I experience something similar to this story in our real life? Yes, because sometimes in our real life it really happens that some parents force their children to be with someone or to marry someone that he or she doesn't want to be with or doesn't want to marry, just because they know the other family, or just because they make an agreement, or they made an agreement with the other families. And if I could say something to Alfredo, I would say that he has to be clear with his parents or with his father especially from the beginning, that he with who he would like to be with, or with who he would like to marry. And I would say to Julia that she has not to let her happiness depend on someone, no matter who it is.